If you're a direct seller, you know how hard it can be to reach the guests of your events, especially if you're relying on Facebook as your only way of engaging with them. That's why I'm a big believer in using text messages to reach your guests, no matter what style of party you are running. And so in this video, I'm going to share with you the examples of some really great texts you can send that are focused on the engagement side of things. And if you don't know me yet, my name is Julie Godshall. I'm the original creator of the Direct Sales on Demand method, where we focused a lot on using text to reach our audience so that we could have this event running without Facebook and without a live component where people get to access it on demand on their own time. And so, of course, as that evolved into the software that supports all of our events, SparkHub, we definitely created SparkHub with texting as a big part of the strategy. And that includes an optional integration with Project Broadcast so that guests are enrolled in your texting plan right from the start. So whether you're doing an in-person, Zoom, Squeeb, or even a Facebook event or an on-demand event, all of them benefit from you having at least a couple of texts go out to your guests. Not to mention, I believe this can make things a little easier on your host as well, because they're not fielding all the questions. The guests have direct access to you. You can, of course, text things like an initial welcome text as soon as they sign up that delivers the party page to them. I talked about that in another video. You can have texts that are around reminders like, hey, just remember the order deadline is tonight, or remember we're gathering on Zoom in 4 hours, things like that. Right now, I want to talk about more kind of the middle of the sandwich. What can you send out that is just to deliver some value and some tips to your guests? So that is your engagement text. So you may be wondering, what can I say? What can I do to actually deliver value to people and get them excited about what we're going to chat about?
Now, before we talk about the different types of engagement texts, let's go through a couple of tips. Tip number 1 is don't make this just about your products. You're wanting to lead with a focus on service and a focus on more the lifestyle that your products can offer, rather than getting into things like specific features or pricing or the materials they're made of. You want to have a bigger picture here of getting to know the person you're talking to and chatting with them about something that could be kind of peripheral to your products or related to your products, but not going for a sale. Another tip is to ask a question that can prompt a response from them because you're trying to start some conversation. And I talk a lot about this in my other trainings, that you need to have a realistic expectation that you're not necessarily going to get everybody responding to you and tons of really lively conversations. People don't always respond to a text. That doesn't mean that they didn't see it though. And if you ask a question, that might increase your chances at least a little bit that they will respond and feel that it's a conversation rather than just a one-way message from you. And of course, focus on serving and adding value for them. And value can mean more than just giving people a tip or a hack, and we'll get to that in a moment. Another tip is to think of the types of content that you might post in a Facebook group. So if you're doing this as part of a kind of direct sales party or trunk show or event, what are the kinds of engagement posts that you might put in a Facebook group? Because chances are you have something like that you've used before, or that your company has given to you that was maybe originally intended to be a Facebook post, but it could totally be repurposed into a text. You don't necessarily have to come up with something brand new here. So as I said, we want to add value. And the 3 types that I want to get you thinking about are texts that will help the guest to do one of 3 things. Help the guest to learn, to laugh, or to light up. Learn is the more obvious and maybe common one. Let's just start there. So what are some examples of texts that will help them to learn? So tips, tricks, hacks, those kinds of things. And I'm going to go through some examples that are actually from templates that I've created for different companies inside my program. And these will hopefully just kind of get your thoughts going on what these could look like. So one would be a recipe. Now, this company is actually not a food company, but they have a lot of beautiful home decor items, including some serving items. And so instead of focusing on a dessert pedestal that you can purchase and saying it's 13 inches diameter and it comes in these colors, I'm instead taking a step back and looking at the concept of hospitality, because that's more what the dessert pedestal is about, right? It's not just a product, it represents something bigger. And the company talks a lot about hospitality and sharing around the table. And so I wanted to go more in that direction, and everybody loves a great recipe, right? And so sharing a recipe, just mentioning, I love serving it on this dessert pedestal, but instead of asking them about the pedestal, asking, what do you like to make for company? And so this is more conversational, not salesy, and just offering a little something that could brighten their day. Another tip, this one was for 31 gifts. And so one product that they have that drew my eye was these packing cubes. I love packing cubes. And I thought, even though I'm not a 31 consultant, I can talk about why I love packing cubes. And if I were a 31 consultant, I would describe not what the packing cubes are made of or their dimensions or anything like that, but I would just describe the before and after of how much better it is to travel when you have packing cubes, why they're so great. The next type would be something that helps them to laugh. And I want to really emphasize that this is service as well. Service is not just about selling people something that can solve a problem. It can also be about brightening their day. So this one for Noonday Collection is a flowchart that actually, spoiler alert, the answer is always, yes, you should wear statement earrings today. So it's just kind of cute and silly, and hopefully to entice them to smile or laugh or get a kick out of it. And I go ahead and say, where are you on the scale from I don't wear earrings at all to I love statement earrings? So it's getting them talking about earrings, but it's not like, hey, here are our different earrings. Which ones do you like? There can be time for that later. This one is just for conversation and to get them to smile. And you'll notice too that I went ahead and added to this, take a moment to save me to your contacts. That's something that you can include in one of your texts throughout the sequence as well. Another one to make you laugh is with Beauty Counter. When I was creating their template, I saw that someone had used this concept of the main character of your favorite show does your makeup for the rest of your life. Who is it? So I turned that into this graphic, inviting them to send me your answer and I'll send you mine. And then the third category is light up. What can you do to help someone light up? So this is getting them to talk about something that's important to them. Maybe you're connecting with each other about a shared value, talking about someone that's important in their life, things like that. This one would be for Usborne Books or a children's books company, just saying, how old are the kids in your life? Or tell me about the kids in your life. And keep in mind with light up, if you're getting into something more personal, of course, keep in mind that not everyone has the same experience or story. Your guests might not necessarily be parents, and that could even be a sensitive topic. But just saying more broadly, if you sign up for this event, you probably have kids in your life. And so tell me about those kids. How old are they? What are they like? And so you're not going for a sale right here. You're not telling them about all of your books right here. You are just asking them a question about people that they love. And then this is one that I have actually used. That's my picture in there. Instead of doing the normal, how do you know the hostess question, I instead said, can you tell me one word that describes her? And what I did with this was I took those words and I put them on a note card that I sent to the host as a thank you card. So I would thank her for hosting and say, hey, here are the words that your friends use to describe you. And so it's a way to light up the host. It's a way to get the guest talking about the host. And I got so many responses from this because I'm asking her, hey, can you help me to bless our host? And they love her, they're her friends. And so they were really glad to be able to contribute. They were just supposed to send one word. So it was a very simple question. Don't ask anything complicated. Ask something simple and quick that they don't have to put a lot of thought into. But then I could follow that up with asking them, how you know her, or, oh, that is such a great adjective. I love that. And this also helped me to get to know the host a little bit. In some cases, it might be someone that I didn't know that well, and it was really fun and inspiring to me to read through all of those. And so that's one thought if that's something that you might want to give a try.
As I said, your engagement texts are only one type of text that you can send throughout your event. And I want to help you think through your whole texting strategy and ways to make it really easy and repeatable from one party to the next. That's why I want to invite you to my free webinar, Party on Project Broadcast. In this webinar, I go over some key strategies that can help you leverage Project Broadcast for your direct sales events. And no, it's actually not just about texting. But on the subject of texting, I do give examples in the webinar beyond these engagement texts that we just covered. And I also discuss your options for how to kick off your texting plan when someone signs up for your event. So be sure to join me for free at the link below to get access to that webinar. And I hope that this video has inspired you to connect with your party guests through text. I'll see you next time.